Okay, so I want to paint a fun picture for you. Really not that fun. Imagine you're on a road trip. You have no cell phone service. You have no paper map. You have no MapQuest or TomTom GPS. And you got to get somewhere quickly and you need to get there efficiently, but you have no idea where you are and you have no idea if you're even going the right direction. So that's what it can be like if you are listing your house without a proper roadmap, and that is why we're going to do a two-part series called the Seller's Roadmap. So buckle up, pun intended, let's go on a ride. Hey everybody, my name's Tim Gibson. My channel is all about North Georgia real estate, whether you're buying or selling. If you are thinking about moving to North Georgia, or if you're thinking about listing your home in the area, please reach out. My contact info is right on the screen, and also please subscribe because we are going to be doing a whole lot of videos this year. Previously on the channel, we did a buyer's roadmap. It was just a step-by-step guide. Just want to give you guys some helpful information if you're curious about moving to North Georgia, or just what steps you need to take to buy a house. And with that same goal in mind, we've also had a lot of people reach out about selling their homes in North Georgia. So I figured, hey, why don't we just do a seller's roadmap to provide some, helpful info to those of you who are thinking about selling your homes in the area. So over the next two videos, we're going to give you that step-by-step guide on the best practices for getting your home ready to sell, and then taking you all the way to the closing table. All right, so number one, a lot of times people come to me and they're overwhelmed. Most people sell their homes about once every 7 to 10 years on average. And of course, as we all know, one of the most stressful things that you can do is sell your home. It's a big investment. You've put your heart and soul in this place. You've maybe grown a family there. You've lived there for years probably. And it's just a big emotional attachment and a lot of moving parts, and you may not know where to start. But just like with any major task, if you break it down into small manageable steps, then you can see a light at the end of the tunnel, and you can develop a roadmap, so to speak, to help you get to your ultimate destination. Okay, so the first step, what is the very first thing you need to do? I think you need to interview multiple agents, and you need to identify the right agent. So think of it like a big project, like maybe you are wanting to remodel your house or remodel your kitchen or something like that. You want to interview multiple contractors to make sure you're getting good quotes, and you want to make sure that the relationship is going to be a good fit. When you're picking out agents to interview, a lot of times people will ask friends and family, somebody they know, maybe a coworker, hey, do you know any good real estate agents? And that's obviously a great way to find an agent, especially if it's someone that you know and they trust an agent, then I would absolutely interview them. But one thing to keep in mind, you want to ask some very specific questions. And the reason why I say that is because there is a crazy stat that came out, I think it was from the National Association of Realtors last year. So we're talking about 2024, and apparently in 2024, something like 74% of licensed realtors in the entire country did not sell a single house in 2024, which is a mind-boggling stat. What you may want to do is when you're interviewing these agents, say, hey, can you tell me about your recent sales? Make sure you find someone who is experienced in the area where you live, because someone may live in a completely different area and they may not know all the nuances of your community. Feel them out and just see kind of how you get along whenever you're asking questions. Are they thorough? Are they explaining things in a way that makes sense to you? Are they rushing through? Are they detailed if you want them to be detailed? Because when you think about it, you're going to be communicating a lot with this agent over the next few months. And really, communication is the most important part of a real estate transaction. Your agent has got to deliver information to you in a timely manner, and also explain to you all of the parts of the contract, the negotiations, the offers that are coming in on your house. And really, the bottom line when it comes to a real estate agent that's going to list your house, you want to think of someone that's more like an advisor rather than a salesperson. Yes, the job is to market the property for sale and to get it sold, but their role to you is more of an advisor. So you want to make sure you have someone that's going to give you the information, good, bad, or indifferent, and say, hey, here's the information and here are our possible steps to take in order to get you to closing in the best possible manner. So here's some key questions you can ask an agent when you're interviewing them. Obviously, ask them about what their suggested list price would be, or maybe a range, and ask them why they think that is the best list price for your home, and maybe ask them for some information or a comparative market analysis that will sort of support their point about their list price for your home. Another good question to ask would be, what's your marketing plan? All real estate agents have access to some sort of multiple listing system or an MLS, but aside from that, what else are they going to do to list your home for sale and to get it sold? And a third question would be, how are you going to handle negotiations? And also, if we come into a multiple offer situation, how are you going to handle that? And these are good questions to ask so that you can kind of get an idea of how they work and if that is going to be a good fit for you. All right, so by now you have chosen your agent to list your home. So what is the next step? The next step is to get your house ready for sale. So you're going to be focusing at this point on what type of repairs do you need to do, or what do you need to do to get the house cleaned up and ready. Not everything needs to be fixed. Some things need to be fixed for sure, and others are so important that they may increase the sale price of your home. There are three main repairs, or three main categories of repairs that buyers will care about the most, and that is going to be the age and condition of the roof, the HVAC system, plumbing, and foundation. And in North Georgia, sometimes we're also talking about septic tank. What's the condition of that? Has it been pumped? Is it in good working order? Obviously, you may not be able to replace your entire roof, but just know that if your roof is over 10 years old, or if it's got some damage to it, that it may actually cost the buyers, the new buyers of your home, a little bit more money on their homeowner's insurance, and factor that into your negotiations. There's some smaller updates that you can do. They're not going to cost a ton of money, but they can have some big impact, and we're going to talk about those. Okay, so for example, you could fix some leaky faucets. You could patch up the walls and paint some small holes in the walls and things like that. You could also fix damaged doorknobs if you got anything that's kind of loose or something like that. So if you've got a lot of unique colors, or maybe every single room has a different color, you may want to consider painting the entire house some sort of basic neutral color so that buyers can have a good idea of what their stuff would look like in the house. Because most people, when they're looking at a house for sale, if they see a house that's way too personalized, it might be hard for them to imagine themselves living in that house. Another idea is if you have some dated light fixtures, or something that's not quite as modern, you may want to consider changing out your light fixtures, because if you have some modern looking light fixtures and it matches the rest of the house, or just updated light fixtures, you would be surprised at how much that helps a buyer to go, yeah, I really like this house, and they may not even realize it's because of light fixtures. For light fixtures, you can go check out Home Depot, Lowe's. You can even go to Amazon. There's some really great choices there. And if you're local in North Georgia, of course, you can check out City Plumbing and Electrical. They've got some great choices as well. If you spend a few $100s on light fixtures, I think it'd have a great impact, especially if you've got some really dated hardware or some old light fixtures. Landscaping is another area that can make a big impact on how buyers view your home. So make sure you get the grass cut, you've got all the edges trimmed, you're trimming all the hedges, you freshen up all of the flower beds next to the house, maybe put some colored mulch or some sort of ground cover in there, like pine straw or something like that. Get it looking good, maybe plant some flowers. And those first impressions, I know curb appeal is kind of a cliche, but first impressions do matter. And whenever somebody gets out of their car and they're walking up to your house, if all the bushes are overgrown and you just look like you don't really care about the outside appearance of the house, then buyers may not have a great feeling about your house. During any home sale in Georgia, the buyers have the right to inspect a house. So whatever buyer writes a contract and you agree to a contract with that buyer, they have the right to inspect the house. So they will hire a home inspector. The home inspector will go through the house, check all the systems, check everything out, and then deliver a report to the buyers to make sure that the buyers understand everything that is good, bad, or indifferent about the house and the condition. So some sellers choose to do a pre-listing inspection where they pay for their own inspection, then they get their own report and they go through the report and make some of their own repairs. Now this could be a good strategy. Anything that comes up on the inspection that you weren't aware of previously, you will have to disclose on your seller's property disclosure. Keep that in mind when you're doing a pre-listing inspection. And if you want to go that route, make sure you do all those repairs and disclose it on the seller's disclosure and say, hey, I fixed X, Y, and Z on my house. That way you're giving buyer additional information, and the more information a buyer has that's reliable, then that will help them make a good decision. All right, so in this video, we talked a little bit about just getting your house ready to sell. We talked about finding the right agent, which is one of the most important things you can do, what the marketing plan is and all that good stuff. We also talked about getting your house ready to sell, what do you need to do? And then we're gonna go a little bit deeper in the next video and talk about what else you need to do right when you start listing your house, contract phase, all that good stuff. We got a lot more content coming on the next video. So you tell me what you think about this video, and we'll see you on the next one.